All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to keep the update from our end a little shorter today. So we've thankfully recouped from the cyclone. So now we have some access to power. So things were getting back to normal in Goa. And in addition to that, I think all day we've spent testing the prototype so that we can see what is happening with it. So running it continuously at the moment. We've also created the video for the lab view. And I think one or two other labs have also started using the lab view to fine tune their prototypes. So we'll be sharing that, I think, hopefully tomorrow as well with the group, so that people who are in advanced prototyping stages can start using them to fine tune their prototypes. In addition to that, I don't know if Vijay is joining this call, but the team in Bangalore at Fractal is working on the next version of the prototype, which could go into the manufacturing with a few other additional design changes and UI UX on that for user interface and things like that. So they're working at the moment in Bangalore for that. And we're hoping to also get some inways on the certification by the end of this week, by Sunday, Monday, with the Manipal group that is trying to sort of give us access to some on-ground clinical trials as well. In addition to that, the Cambridge University has come on board again. We are working with them to also identify some of the process for the quality assurance and quality check. So their team has already started working and will be collecting data insights starting this week to help us with the process of quality checks, even if you're doing it as an independent lab, not necessarily a manufacturing unit, and how we can sort of apply that so that the end results of the product remain substantially the same, so that they can be used very well with the hospitals and the local ecosystem. So that's another one that we've been working on. In addition to that, we've also started work on, while the oxygen analyzer is one part of it that is expensive, so we are also trying to figure out in addition something more cheaper under possibly 700-800 rupees. I think there were some messages floating on the group, but we've also written to Fab Foundation, MIT, and Stanford to also sort of pool in their resources to figure out something as well over there, apart from, of course, all of us also brainstorming. So that is another quick update on that. And in addition to that, I have also started reaching out to the lab coordinators and the registered labs, because obviously we do not have any access for the last couple of days to data. So today I've started reaching out to people. So I'm just trying to get an update on the status, if they've not been onboarded, if they've started sourcing, is their prototype in progress and things like that, just to get a sense of where everybody stands and how we can help in terms of any of the gap areas. In addition to all of this, we're also pushing really hard for fundraising so that we can also start supporting prototyping at the labs as well. And of course, Fab Foundation, Cambridge, and a few other partners have come in on board to also help on the funding front. So hopefully we'll have more updates and the process in which we can start the funding as well for a bunch of other labs that are there. And hopefully we all can sort of progress with that into more production as we go along in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the update from our end at the moment. What I'm going to do quickly, I know Anul is on the call, but I'll pass it on to Anul a little later before, just to get a quick update from everyone over here in terms of what's going on in their locations, any gaps, what's the issues. Maybe engineering could be a separate conversation, and a lab onboarding will be a separate conversation tomorrow, where we will be hosting a separate lab coordinators meet again. And if you're an individual on this call who wants to sort of understand how to get associated with a lab, also reach out to Bhanu. He will be able to sort of guide you to connect to the Telegram groups of individual states so that you can also get on that. So I'm just going to open out the floor for anyone who would like to go first. Anyone would like to update from their end?
So on my end, I've started prototyping in Delhi, and I've received all my valves and tubing and my electronics. I need to set up the compressor and the tank, and then of course the zeolite, which is basically the next step.
Thanks, Arjun. On the zeolite conversation as well, I just wanted to sort of point out that I think all of us are just, at least over here in Goa, we're just testing a few zeolite sources that we've gotten the zeolite from on the prototype so that we know for sure which one works better. That information of some of the sources are already there on the sourcing group, but hopefully once we have better testing on the equipment, we'll be able to share which zeolite is working well. Of course, there's a larger sourcing issue with zeolite at the moment. I think a lot of zeolite has been already sourced in India at the moment, but getting access to it is something that we all can figure out as well, in addition to what the local resources have at the moment. So just one quick note on the zeolite quickly. Yeah, if anybody else would like to update, please unmute yourself and please go ahead.
Hi, this is Vivian here. I've been working with a Chinese supplier here in Dubai, and I had asked him to source out for compressors and a few other material. So he's come back to me with a 750 watts compressor. I will share the specification in the group. This is costing around in dollars around $49. It's a 2 HP compressor. Okay. And I think if we can find a way to ship it, it will be a good option.
So just a heads up over there, 750 watts is too less. You'll need at least 3 of them in parallel to run one unit. Okay. Or you'll need an 1800 watt compressor, which we also just got from China. It costs about $100 and about 3,000 rupees on top of that on shipping customs. So that's a good option. However, with the 1800 watt compressor, what happens is that the pneumatic tubing gets really, really hot. And in cases, we have observed that it starts to melt. So which is not good. So that means that if you're using a 1800 watt compressor, you might have to look into metal pneumatic connectors and metal piping. We are actually experimenting with that at the asylum, and Anul has raised his hand. I'll let him speak about that. Go ahead, Anul.
Yeah, just quickly for someone who doesn't have the math quickly available, 750 watts is 1 horsepower. Typically, a machine of this kind needs a minimum of 2 horsepower, more the better. So if we need something that is more than 1500 to 1800 watts or more than 2 to 3 horsepower. The one that Vivian mentioned, if you take 3 of those, that should work. That's like roughly 3 horsepower. And you can put the outputs in parallel and that kind of works. So yeah, that's that on the compressor. Regarding heat, I think we'll have to have some kind of cooling system figured out, maybe an additional fan for the compressor, especially where the ambient temperatures are high. So let's see how that goes.
Thanks, Anul. Priyank, you want to go next?
I have 2 or 3 updates. Stuck at almost 50 or 52% O2 concentration for almost 4 days now. Not able to fine tune it properly. So if you have the lab view ready, it will be really helpful because I'm almost stuck at the same place for almost 4 days now. And I don't have that kind of technical knowledge with the lab view. And so I also tried it, but I was not able to do it. And I don't have that kind of simulation knowledge. So that is where I'm stuck at. Second thing, had a talk with Gorba. I had some issues with oxygen analyzer. I made it from OM202. I have two of them with me. So I guess that will be ready by tomorrow. At this point of time, I take a oxygen analyzer from my friend, test it for 10 minutes and give it back. This is how I'm working at this point of time. Last thing, just ordered a zeolite, sodium zeolite from AGC Chemicals at almost 2100 per kg. That is sodium zeolite from and they say that it is 0.4 to 0.8 mm. So let's see once they arrive, is it 0.4 to 0.8 mm? This is all the updates from my side.
Oh,
Thanks, Priyank.
Anul can definitely go, but just a quick thing. AGC Chemicals is quite good. So I think you should probably get the right stuff. Right now, what zeolite are you using?
I'm using a sodium zeolite sourced from a local person, but it was not so bad. It is 0.8 mm to 2 mm. That's what it is. It's not 3 or 4 mm, but yeah, this is the zeolite which I'm using.
Yeah.
So on that front, Anul can definitely take that answer, especially in terms of LabVIEW, because he's made a video today. So that'll be coming out tomorrow with all the links and places to download. And it's already simulated. All that you need to do is play with the numbers then. And yeah, go ahead, Anul. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he's not there. But yeah, just
yeah, just on the lab, I wanted to, go ahead, Richard.
sorry, Anul, you were breaking, so go ahead.
Anul, your voice was breaking. Go ahead.
All right, better now?
Yeah, a little better, not the best, but yeah, go ahead.
Can you folks hear?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure next. My audible. I just wanted to give a bit of update on the LabVIEW part. What's going to happen is you have an application, and
It's not
once you
it's
run
not
it,
clear.
Anul, your voice is breaking.
Down
Anul, your voice is breaking, so I'll let Vaibhav sort of explain this quickly.
the group.
Just mute him.
Yep.
Okay, so basically it's a simple application that opens up in LabVIEW. So what you'll have is a sort of a simulator where you hook up your machine directly. So you're not really getting the values from Arduino anymore, and you're directly just putting up the values into the LabVIEW software and get the results of the oxygen in graph format. So quite good. Vijay was able to put that together relatively quickly, and LabVIEW is also open source if the project is open source. So that means you can get it for free, the software. And then you just need to plug this in and start tweaking the values. We have seen certain values work, especially on the aluminum sieves that Corba made. That's where we were getting properly 90 to 96% at about 10 lbm. The bigger sieves, the one with Maher's design or the Oxygate design, don't produce the same exact setting. So we are still figuring out what is the exact setting for them. So we will keep you guys updated on that too. But tomorrow you should get the LabVIEW video and the LabVIEW stuff all together by tomorrow morning, hopefully.
Yeah.
And one thing I forgot, I just put in, there were a lot of suggestions regarding helical structure of the copper coil. So basically the radius, the diameter is bigger on the upper side and it's lower. And I have very good results in that. So if anybody is trying to cool down the air, I've used two helical structures, basically two cooling coils. One is the original one, which was in the video, and one is passing through it. and I was able to get the temperature by almost 12 or 13 degrees. And there was a difference of 13 degrees from inlet and outlet. So I got good results. So some of them may be having this issue. This is the simplest solution.
Real quick over there, how did you create that helical structure? And can you share a photo? Like what tools did you use to make that?
Yeah, I've shared a video and how did I make it on the engineering channel. I used a PVC pipe, 2.5-inch PVC pipe. It was very easy to do it. I don't know about all over India. Basically, the AC people work on their own dimensions and pneumatic work on different dimensions. So first I told them that I want a 3/8 OD and they were not. So हिंदी में उसको छानी बोलते हैं कि उसको छानी की pipe. I have taken a Chouani pipe. I can just measure the with a vernier what is the exact OD. But that was very easy for a 2.5-inch PVC pipe, and then I increase it to 3-inch, and then I increase it to 4-inch. So I got a perfect helical structure in that.
Oh wow, that's
Okay,
awesome.
that's awesome. That's good.
And I've put in a video as well that how did I do it on the engineering M19 channel.
Priyank, would you be able to send me that video like separately to Richa?
Done.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
What I will do is I'll also put it up on YouTube so that we have access to it officially also somewhere. So
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
Okay.
I will send you the video as well as the final output.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks, that'd be great.
Also, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, there's also been a research paper I saw someone posted on one of the groups regarding this comparison of helical coil versus parallel, and I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's the way to go for sure.
Awesome. So we'll get that from Priyank and we'll put that up as well and we share with everyone. Okay, awesome.
I can do a quick update on how the LabVIEW thing will work, just so that people know. So you get an EXE when you run it. It takes you to the National Instruments website where you have to download the runtime files. Just be aware that it's a pretty long download. In my case, I think it took me about 2 to 3 hours for the whole process to finish. Once you are done with that, you still need another update for the serial connection. So that's another download that takes quite a bit of time. So be prepared. I mean, it's not very difficult, except that it's time consuming. It takes time. And we will share all of these links that you need for downloading. But other than that, the video tomorrow will explain how the LabVIEW test bench itself works. So I won't spend more time on that. But the installation part might be a bit tricky, and we can help out anyone who gets stuck if they just let us know what's happening.
Okay, perfect, Anul. Okay, before anybody, sorry, I know Priyank, Arjun, you guys have raised your hand, but I'll let Shubh go first quickly, and then I'll come back to you guys. Shubh, you want to go?
Yeah, just quick question on the LabVIEW. Is that an open source or is that like a proprietary thing?
No, it's an open source for open source projects. So if it's open source projects, then you'll get access to it.
Some clarity on that. I mean, LabVIEW per se is not open source. But you can develop applications which run on LabVIEW, which can then be shared as a standalone executable files, which are freely shareable. So per se, the code or the other stuff is not kind of open source, but it is freely shareable, and it can be run using the free download available from NI that runs the LabVIEW code, for example. So,
gotcha. And one other question: what kind of connections will we need into the laptop, or like how are we getting the data input into the LabVIEW?
I missed mentioning that. So the way it works is there is actually no timing code on the Arduino itself. There's a serial connection between Arduino to a computer, and what the Arduino is basically acting as a listener and sender over serial port. It has no code running on it itself at all. All of the code is coming from the LabVIEW side, from the computer, and it happens in real time. So for example, if you change your production delay from 4 seconds to 5 seconds, if you rotate the dial, that that change happens instantaneously. It gets transmitted to the Arduino. Arduino just controls the valves accordingly. So it's pretty seamless. I've been running it whole day today. Works quite well.
But the measurement on the oxygen, like 90% or whatever that is, like,
Yeah.
is that you need to have a connection for that as well?
So the oxygen sensor is connected to the I2C bus on the Arduino. So what we have is we have the Equitech or Envitech WM 202, I think. I can't get the exact number now. So that's the oxygen sensor we're using. That's connected to an 8-3 converter, which has an I2C interface output. So that goes to the Arduino. So that's on the electronics side of it. I think a lot of people have built that kind of oxygen analyzer, so should not be very difficult. But if you need help on that, let me know and I can get you up to speed on that later.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just a quick update on the lab side. I'm actually stuck at the same place where I think somebody, I think gentleman from Rajkot is not more than 40% tried a bunch of other experiments, but still there. So maybe I need to try something else now.
So I think for the people who are still fine tuning, I think the lab view is going to really help because I think Vijay also used it with a few other labs in Bangalore and they were all able to get above 90%. So hopefully it should work. Let's see. So tomorrow we should update that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Gorbachev, have you had any luck running the lab view code?
Yeah, I saw the screenshot, right? So I got it running, but I haven't started the optimization. I was running for the other aluminum tubes today, so and also I'm running like a analysis on the heat exchanger. So mostly in the night I'll be doing that.
Okay, next I would like, if Bhanu, you want to go next?
Yeah, so this is more on the larger synchronization questions. First thing is, how is M19 coordinating with the Pillar Tribe group? They seem to be setting up the GPO, like the global purchase offices and all of that. The prices seem to be a bit high than what people are trying to source. That's the first question. Second is, labs are, kind of burning money on identifying one prototype, and everyone is doing similar mistake on sourcing, engineering, and so on. Wouldn't it be wise to finalize one prototype centrally, and then labs like us, we don't have the full technical know-how on how to, look at all the issues that people have been discussing. So just want to bring that up. Thanks.
Thanks, Bhanu. I think that's great questions, I think. So quick thing on the Pillar Tribe. So I'm not 100% sure what their plan of action is. So I'm not really in sync, at least from a standpoint of the M19 initiative. We have a certain thought in mind in terms of sort of activating 3,000 units, hopefully able to raise money for all of that and sort of distribute it to the labs. So that's what we have been looking for. I'm not really sure if the Pillar Tribe and the OxyKit folks, they have a different direction. So just want to put that on record. I'll have to get into it because obviously I'm 100% sure that the sourcing, etc., if done, in the US, it should be expensive, obviously, and we're trying to find other frugal ways of doing this. So I guess there will be a difference, in my opinion, plus also the designs have changed. So that's also the case. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure and in sync with the Pillar Tribe. I mean, although we've in principle said that whatever support they will need, we'd be happy to facilitate, but there's no formal, I think, convergence between, the way that we're approaching it versus what they're doing. So yeah, that's just from my side, but I can dwell deeper, answer this question better once I take a quick look at what they're up to. I've been a little out of sync as well in the last couple of days to just get an update from them. So that's on that. And in terms of the prototyping everywhere else, I think that's a fair point, Bhanu. And I think I think there are certain labs obviously who have the technical wherewithal to also sort of progress at the, at a faster speed, and absolutely will be, and of course, if they have access to funds, that'd be pretty fantastic, in which a lot of labs at the moment, I think as per my data that I was collecting today, there are about 16 to maybe about 20 labs that are already sort of prototyping. So, which is great, but I hear your point, but the only thing that we've been sort of working around with is to parallelly also gain some knowledge, because I think it was more from a collective perspective that even though if we are making, I'm sure the other, and we've been seeing that all the other labs who are prototyping are adding so much value to the larger conversation around the design. But we're hoping by Saturday, Sunday, the team in Bangalore that's been working on the version 2, which is the upgraded design, hopefully with that can actually go to hospitals and does not look like more like a DIY unit, should be out, and that knowledge documentation is in progress. And hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, we should be able to start sharing that design, so that labs who are, who just want to sort of put it together can just use the documentation and do that. Does that answer your question, Banu?
Sure, yeah. Thanks for answering.
Yeah. Okay, great. Priyank, before I get to you, can I just take a round with someone? Anyone else would like to update? Okay, so then I will take Priyank's question.
No, it's not a question. It is just continuation of Shubh, I guess. Anul, one thing, should we install the lab view and the serial ports? Because you said that it will take time. And due to cyclone, the internet speeds have drastically been low. So we don't want to waste time. Once you release the exe file or you release the open source Oxyc design, we are trying to install everything. So would the .exe file include everything, or first we will have to install the lab view and the serial port and everything, and then we can run that? What is the process?
So again, I'm not fully 100% sure about whether you can do one before the other, because essentially LabVIEW looks at the executable and then decides what it needs to download. So while in this case, it's more or less a known factor, a lot of those downloads are really online. And so here's another way of putting it. Once you start the LabVIEW application and it asks you that you have to download stuff, what it downloads is a 6 megabyte file, which is essentially some kind of a wrapper for it to download a lot of other things from the internet. So which is where that 3-4 hours time is taking place. And I don't think there is a workaround to download that separately or something like that.
Just to add there, I think there is an offline edition as well, also available. But the NI site is always like slow depending on where you are in India. Okay. So we can upload it to a Google Drive or something and then share it that will be faster.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. In which case, can we put it on GitHub or somewhere and let people share it?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So that's fantastic. I think, would you be able to make a list of the things we need? Because I think one is the runtime, the second is the serial interface or whatever. Those are the files I think I sent you already, I guess.
Right. I'll upload it in GitHub.
But make sure that the licensing allows you to upload it on GitHub, right?
Okay. Let's see. I think it's a public distribution, right? I mean, like anybody can download it and runtime. So I'm assuming.
I'm not sure. Being National Instruments in LabVIEW, I would prefer to check the licensing first, just so we don't get into trouble. Because you will have to set up so that's another thing. You'll have to set up a LabVIEW account in order to get the downloads. That's the other thing that it forces you to do. So my guess is you can't share them directly on GitHub. You have to get it from the NI website.
So I had LabVIEW previously, but it was an older version. So when you give me the link, it basically updated it. So yeah, it might differ for someone else. So.
Yeah. Yep, and as Vaibhav said, Ping Vijay, he's the guy who wrote all of this awesome code from Fractal Works. He's there on all of the Telegram channels. So I think he should be able to answer any queries on how the LabVIEW process works and the licensing, I guess.
Okay, great. So, Panu, you still have your hands raised.
Oh, sorry. Please ignore.
Okay.
That
Any-
reminds me, just to add a little bit to what Banu asked about, if that's fine, Richa.
yeah, go for it. No.
Okay, so I mean, the way I see it, let's consider that the M19 initiative design is a fork of the original OxyKit, but it technically is no longer the same in the sense that you've kind of adding a lot of enhancements to it, especially with respect to moisture capture in the incoming air and continuous measurement of oxygen produced. So these are the two main things that we are trying to add in terms of feature list to the original OxyKit, which lacks those. So technically, it's a fork of an original design, which is open source. So that's how it is. And on the other side, with implementation, as Richa said, I mean, OxyKit has a different, way forward on this, which at this point we are not really sure how and what it is they're doing. But for us, it's very clear. Make at least a few prototypes. You mentioned one, but we are making a couple, like Gorbachev cells in Goa, Diverse Labs in Chennai, Fractal Works in Bangalore. So there's 4 or 5, key labs trying to ensure that this technology works using the parts that we can source locally, so we are not dependent on any imported stuff, and then get the 120 labs to build those. So I think our goal and aim in this is kind of different at a top level compared to what OxyKit wants to achieve, where they want to let's say send in kits from the US and have people build it here using those parts, which is not what we are thinking about. So at this stage, I think that's the way it is. They're doing their thing, we're doing our thing, sort of.
Yeah. Thanks, Anil.
Yeah. So, fair. Anyone else would like to go before I close the evening?
I was thinking about something. I was just wondering, in terms of hub coordination, we have any connections in Nepal or any Kathmandu labs working?
Sorry, from where? Where did you say?
Nepal, Kathmandu and Nepal, so not India, but just north, because they also have COVID spreading there through UP and Bihar.
Oh, yeah. So would you know of anyone in Nepal who would like to do this? Because then we can invite them to the collective and onboard them as well.
Okay, we can definitely sort of reach out and try to.
Yeah.
I have one thought to add there, Richa.
Yeah.
So here I'm back
Yeah.
here. So there's a guy called Tejista who's joined the group. I think he's trying to set up something in Darjeeling.
Okay, nice.
In for Northeast. So he's the only guy there that is there. But we can get in touch with people in Nepal. I studied in Sikkim, so I can post and try to see if we can get something.
Yeah, I think I today was going through the list and there's somebody from Nagaland as well. And he was telling me about some sourcing problems, and if Darjeeling as well, I'm sure there will be some sourcing problems. So we'll have to sort of figure out how we can also send them the material there so that they can assemble and things like that. But yeah, it'll be great to also have Nepal, maybe even Bangladesh and a few other, neighboring locations as well. I mean, if need be, and make it more, I don't know, the Indian sort of subcontinent as well. So that'll be really fantastic. Just try to sort of get around with coordinating with everyone at the moment to at least understand progress. So hopefully in the next 1 or 2 days, we should have better clarity. And plus, of course, we're also progressing on design. So that's also pretty great.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that one. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. So Ashish, you're anyways on the lab coordination team, right? So we'll catch up, I think, separately. Cool.
Sure. Thanks.
Vivian, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, this is Sajid from Chitarpur, Ramgarh, Jharkhand.
Yeah, hi, Sajid.
We are doing the prototyping with oil-based, compressor because we have that one. So I was just doing a mechanical stuff into creating the a prototype before we get the the sourcing. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow we are getting our consignment of related pump, which is oil free and related other tools. And so maybe by this week end we will able to send or share the first video of our side prototype of Oxykit.
That's awesome, Sajid.
And I'm thankful for Ayush and Bhanu for ensourcing of the material.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Thanks for the update.
Hi. See, I was listening to Arjun suggesting to, for the Nepal lab. See, as it is, I work in UAE at the moment, and I'll be moving back to India in mid of June and settling down. Over here, I work with quite a bit of makers. Few makers which I know pretty close friends, and one of them is a person from Egypt, and he wants to actually join the collective.
That'd be amazing, Vivian. You can add them for sure.
Okay, great. Okay. Vivian, I can also help out with contacts in Egypt if that's
okay. Because I believe Egypt also is having a problem with high rate of corona, and they also have oxygen shortage issues there. So he was also telling me whether, if this collective is good, he will help out in ways of supporting on building it, and later maybe we can build in India and then ship it to Egypt. Of course, we'll have to do a separate crowdsourcing, crowdfunding for that.
Yeah.
Based in Egypt or something like that. So maybe we can think of that.
No, that'd be great. I think it's a fantastic idea to sort of add some more maker communities from outside of other countries which are getting affected, and possibly this could be another way for them to also look at the oxygen problem. And I think that'll be fantastic, and they can take all this information and do hopefully sort of tackle some of the issues. And I think that'll be really great. I think last year also, when we were doing a couple of our initial work on the face shields, etc., we had a lot of other groups join in from Kenya, Australia, and other parts of the world as well. So it's collective in an international sense as well. So I'm guessing that should be great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
I was thinking if Egypt has a problem, then this could spill into Gaza. That's something to think of.
Gaza, of course, has a different problem at the moment, I guess, which is, that's also terrible. But yeah, it will eventually. I think the oxygen problem is going to be definitely an issue in a lot of other countries, I guess. So I think just having that insight and sort of possibly doing it collectively on an international level also sort of will be really amazing. Okay, amazing. So anyone else before I close the call for the day? Okay, looks like we all have updated. So just as next steps, I think we'll do an engineering call. We'll do the lab view sharing by hopefully by tomorrow morning earliest. We should try to sort of send that across. And then we'll also do a quick lab coordinators meet tomorrow, hopefully with the new labs, and just to get everyone's status, how we can help them out. But thank you so much everyone for joining, and we'll catch up again tomorrow.
Awesome. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.